Deja vu? It may seem like it since we've made the same announcement 3 times in the last 3 months, with this being number 4, but we are lowering our prices again. First, our 30-day all access went from $349 to $299. Next, the 7-day all access pass went from $119 to just $99. And just a few weeks ago, despite our popular 3-day all access pass, it went down to $59 from $69. Next up is the 90-day all access pass, which is now officially dropped down to $749 from being $849, giving you 90 days of selections from your favorite handicapper for under $60 per week. Remember, purchase wager bucks can now be used the same as cash, including on our new lowered price, 3, 7, 30, and 90-day all access packages, allowing you to save every day on every pick you buy.
Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. It is Friday, the last show of the week. I'm Lawrence Presman. That handsome 73-year-old man is Teddy Covers. Tony Mejia joining us off the bat. We're talking Butler St. John and a lot of it. A VCU game, the All-Star game in NBA, Andy Lang, some UFC, some Daytona. I know nothing about Daytona. And Carmine Bianco stepping in for Rob Vino, last-minute scratch, and he's got a couple of NHL plays. Teddy Covers, my brother. Let's start right off the bat with the fact that I know it seems like I have a lot of 5% plays. I've had 3 in the entire month of February. My third happens to be today. And I do have a promo code to give out to everyone, and I only am going to give it out on the show. It is Prez 10. It's $10 off of my 5%. You guys were all with me on Wednesday. We won. You were all with me on Monday. We won. All we've been doing is winning these 5% plays. Please don't miss this. Teddy, you got to, I log on today and I'm like, Teddy's got a play called Fade the Dead. Now, Teddy went to many Grateful Dead shows. Lawrence went to many Grateful Dead shows. Likely, we didn't know each other at the time, but likely we were at the same shows every now and again. And yet you want to fade them tonight, bro.
So is what's going on? Is this a Prez promo, or should we talk about what we learned last night?
No, fade the Prez. I'm talking about your play. I'm asking about your Fade the Dead play.
Oh, it's betting.
Did you just completely tune out?
Nothing to do with the Grateful Dead. I'm betting against a team that is not that hasn't played competitive basketball in months. That's what Fade the Dead means.
I know. I was making a joke. You tuned right out. I was making a joke, albeit bad, setting up you to promote your Fade the Dead play. You're on an 11-0 run. Is that correct?
Yeah. So if you'd have let into me like you're supposed to do on every show, you go, what did you learn? We'd have already had this all out and it'd be nice and easy. But now you're trying to promo me at the top without getting into what we normally do.
What did we learn, Teddy?
So go, dude.
What did we learn?
I'm on a real good college basketball run. Can I talk about it the way I would had set up to talk about it? Or do you want to just keep throwing random questions?
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, everybody. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Teddy Covers. Teddy, what did we learn last night in the wonderful world of sports betting?
There you go, Lawrence. So what's the difference between running good and being red hot?
Oh, my God.
I'll tell you. There's winning games like Houston yesterday. The Cougs, anywhere from minus 13.5 to minus 14.5 at tip against UCF. And the score is 45-44 with 12 to play. It's not an easy right side winner. What happened the rest of the way? Well, over the last 12 minutes of the game, the Knights made 2 baskets. The second of which came already after they were down 20 with a minute to go. The 50-50 games go in your favor. You start to get hot. And when you start winning some of the games you're supposed to lose, you start to get hot. And when you start winning a bunch of the games that are 50-50 and you might have lost, that's when you get real hot. Look, the last few months, Prez, have not been my best work, to put it mildly. You know, the 5% plays, the big ticket plays have been good. Everything else, not so much. It's a good feeling to be hot again, you know? Northern Illinois won last night outright as 12-point dogs against Akron. Dan Monson in Long Beach again for me. I've been riding that team. They're going to get a Christmas card from me this year. I've had a bunch of games during their 11-game win and covering streak. 11-0 college hoops the last 7 days, 14-1 the last 15 college hoops plays, Prez. It's good to be hot. It's good to see things clearly. What about you? What did you learn last night?
Well, firstly, I have to respond to a really interesting question that needs to be answered in the chat room, and I just want to point out, Teddy, I'm living in non-5% hockey purgatory. I get on the show last night, 2-1. My clients 1-2. I cannot. It's been months and months. If you bet my picks on the daily presidential address, you'd be 7-1 this week. 7-1. Listen, I've had a decent week for my clients. I've won 3 out of 4 days, but I am so frustrated with seeing it right and picking it wrong. But anyway, it happens. Listen, my 5% have been gold, and I got one tonight, so I'm feeling really good. I'm wearing I have 5% pants, Teddy. These are them.
I don't want to see them because I know you don't wash them.
My 5%
That's a nice
pants.
look. Prez's crotch. Yeah.
Hey.
That's
We all got to see Snoop's crotch at the Super Bowl. Anyway, one of our clients,
the halftime show.
Mr. Pritchard writes, and this is really, guys, this is super important. He writes, please help. Do I bet 5% of my bankroll or 5% of my initial bankroll? No, Mr. Pritchard. And I don't know why I'm calling you that. But that is the name you've chosen. In order to make money in sports betting, in order to bet correctly, you are always betting a percentage of your current bankroll. And the easiest way to explain it is, if you're betting, let's just say 4% on your 4% on every play all the time, and you're adjusting the actual bet number every single day. So 4% of whatever your bankroll is that morning. If you go on a 15-5 run, you have increased your bet size, but the same percentage along the way. And you will find that you actually went 16-5. You got a free winner just by the exponential growth of increasing your bet. Same the opposite way around. If you go on a 5-15 run, you actually save yourself a loss by decreasing the bet dollar and sticking to the percentage of your bankroll. So the answer to your question is you bet 5% of your current bankroll. Teddy, anything quick to add to that, or shall we bring in Mr. Mejia?
Let's bring in Mr. Mejia. But yeah, I mean, certainly if you're talking about adjusting your bankroll every single day, that's not something I do. That's not something a lot of bettors do.
No.
I know. That being said, periodical adjustments of unit sizes are something that's every successful bettor that I know does, basically.
Well, Teddy, yeah. And for me, I actually do change my bet size every day, but the modeling that I did, which we've done on this show before, says change your bet size like every Monday. So every 7 days, change your bet size. Tony Mejia, anything to add to that conversation?
About changing your bets? I mean, I think you bet most confidently when you're into it the most intricately. So in terms of having the most confidence, that's where you're betting. When you know that there are injuries that you shouldn't take a shot at, or you're guessing, that's when you bet lower. I think it's really cool that we only save 8 5% plays for everybody per month because it allows you to be more selective. So, and from that instance, that's what has allowed me to be number one since I joined, over 100 units on 5% plays, and on the other plays, I've been more mediocre than I like, to put it nicely. So, but at the same time, formulas are formulas. I mean, they just. Sometimes you run hot, sometimes you run cold, and so long as you stay consistent to your process, I think that's when you get in trouble, when you get away from that.
Tony Mejia joining us. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. And Tony, let's get straight into it. Butler is playing St. John's today. It's a 5 p.m. Eastern game, everybody, in case you've missed it. Both teams middle of the pack. How do we bet this one?
Yeah, we're talking rematches today, Prez. One in the A10 and this one in the Big East. St. John's has much more hope of reaching the NCAA tournament than Butler does, and they've got to take care of business at home tonight at Carnesecca Arena, which is a difference, a substantial difference in playing at Madison Square Garden because it's on campus. It's where they normally play. All the sightlines are more familiar than at MSG. This is a rematch from a game that St. John's won 75-72 on February 5th. The total there was 140.5. The total here is about 141. There may have been some movement, but the bottom line is St. John's is top 3 nationally in pace, and Butler is in the bottom 20. So this is kind of a tug of war pace-wise. But I think we're going to get a faster pace because Butler has gotten success of late with Bo Hodges entering the starting lineup, operating faster, operating at 68, 69 possessions in their most recent 5 Big East wins. And they lost in the most recent game at Hinkle Fieldhouse in a 75-72 game that went over, and St. John shot just 2 for 16 from 3-point range in that game, and we still got the high side. So long as Bo Hodges and Bryce Enzi, who are currently game time decisions, are in the mix, I feel pretty confident in the over coming through again.
So I want to ask you, in that first meeting between these two teams, both squads shot really well. Between them, 50% from the floor, 55 for 110. Do you worry at all about hot shooting tonight being problematic?
I'm worried mostly about Hodges being in there because he clearly makes a huge difference for Butler. He's aggressive. He's not with the whole let's milk the clock down till it's 5 possessions and shoot an off balance jumper. Let's attack. So he's the key. If Enzi's out, I mean, he had a really nice game in that first meeting with 14 points. I think he was like 7 of 11 from the field. But he also, what he gives you on offense is probably their best rim protector. So he would take away on defense. So Hodges is the key here. St. John's actually zoned up in that game, and over the last 15 minutes allowed just 14 points to Butler. So they won a game on the defensive end. But Posh Alexander's back from his injury. He's looking healthy. He's actually coming in off the bench. St. John's is the deeper team here. To me, I think both of these teams, as they progress, St. John's always wants to run, obviously. Butler is finding out that they're better off not operating at a plodding pace and instead just going out there and playing basketball. St. John's makes it so difficult to slow down a game, as you know, Teddy, because they're picking you up 3/4 court with that pressure.
Yep.
Tony Mejia joining us, everyone. We've got one more college hoops play to discuss with you, Tony, and then we're going to turn our attention to the NBA All-Star Game. VCU hosting Richmond, -2 here, a total of 133.5. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, I mean, this is a city rivalry. I mean, both teams obviously in Richmond. And they get along in terms of the players respecting one another. But yeah, it's a venomous rivalry as far as their fan bases go. VCU won at Richmond in that first meeting. It was a tight game. Spiders shot just 4 for 22 from 3-point range in their own arena. Tyler Burton, who's an NBA prospect, shot 1 of 12, 0 for 5 from 3-point range. This is a senior-laden Spider squad. Like a lot of these names, anybody's a college basketball fan, you come to know over the last half decade. I mean, they've been there so long. Grant Golden, Jacob Gilliard, they've got about 4 or 5 seniors that play in Chris Mooney's rotation who are up for this game and will get up for this game. It's probably going to be the last one, certainly in the regular season, that these teams play. VCU's the younger squad, but they won that first meeting for a reason. Ace Baldwin looks much healthier from his Achilles that took him out at the beginning of the season. Vince Williams Jr. went for 22, 10, and 8 in that first matchup, and it's a sellout crowd expected at the Siegel Center. Everybody's wearing gold. VCU ranks top 10 in turnover percentage and actually committed 18 turnovers to Richmond's 13 in that first meeting. Still won. They'll probably be cleaner at home. I like VCU to cover that small spread.
So, I mean, when we talk about these revenge angles in city rivalries, where it was, a 2-point game in the first meeting, and now I'm laying points with the team that won that game in the second meeting, does that concern you at all in these rivalry type matchups? Do you want to lay points with the team that won the first time?
Yeah, I mean, usually a revenge angle, you want to play the team that lost, obviously, if there's any difference. But VCU's won 11 of the last 14 between these teams, so that's a lot of revenge to carry on your shoulder. I think the biggest worry for me in backing VCU is Hassan Ward. Their primary rim protector is a game-time decision with an ankle injury. Matt Josephs, who is as plugged into Richmond as anybody, he assures me that Ward will probably play. So, that's good enough for me. He went for 14 and 10 in that game. He's their primary post defender. So I really like the fact that he's going to be out there too. Once that becomes official, we'll probably see some 2.5 threes.
Awesome stuff, Tony. Let's talk real quick about the NBA All-Star Game. 321 points. Man, that is a shot clock down to 10 seconds. It's hard to comprehend.
The NHL All-Star Game.
Yeah,
the NHL All-Star Game is known for shutouts.
No. I'm with you, Teddy. I mean, obviously, this is going to be an extremely high-scoring game. It's hard to logically comprehend that, both teams can get over 150 points each, way over that. Anyway, -5.5 for LeBron. I don't know where you're going with this, Tony. Maybe it's in the 3-point contest, the dunk contest. What do you got for us?
Well, I mean, if you're talking totals, you can get like 12 to 14 points within a minute. Nobody's playing defense. You're giving wide open shots. Yeah. You're giving the fans what they want to see on breakouts. The one thing with the total, though, and we talked about this on the NBA show with Joe Rainieri yesterday, if you're blindly betting over, just remember that there is now an Elam ending, which is the thing that they do at the tournament, the TBT, which once it hits a score within the game, they now place the score that you have to get to win that game. And over the last 2 Elam endings, the fourth quarters have averaged only 52 points. So you're basically saying you got to get to about 260, 270 to get to the 320 that you need within those first 3 quarters. So watch out for that. I like the New York Knicks to finally get something to go right this season with Obi Toppin winning the slam dunk contest over the favored Jalen Green. The 3-point shootout. Take a shot at Luke Kennard, who is at plus 700 and had a ridiculous game yesterday against the Rockets. Rockets play no defense, and there's nobody going to be guarding Kennard either in this 3-point shootout. So it'll be kind of like picking up where he left off. Zach LaVine, Trae Young. I think it might be a Trae Young weekend, too. Trae Young could win the 3-point contest and the All-Star Game MVP. We'll just have to see how he takes to Cleveland.
So I just want to ask you real quick, Tony, if you want to bet that over in the All-Star Game, is that a first half overplay because of the fourth quarter rules that you were talking about? Because you're looking at a first half total that in theory is going to be fairly reasonable given the nature of what we expect the game to be for the first half. If you're going to play over, would you do first half as opposed to the full game, or is that not one that would pique your interest?
That's why your Teddy Cover is always thinking. I mean, I'm with you on that, but because it's not like we're going to expect a lull out of the gate, or hey, both teams couldn't find a range early. I mean, nobody's going to be guarding them; they're going to be warmed up. It's the All-Star Game, so yeah, I'm completely with you. If you're betting the high side due to the Elam ending, it makes most sense to bet it in that first half.
Awesome stuff, Tony. What do you got to promote?
I will have a 5% play tomorrow in college basketball. I just have to find it, and there's obviously a million entries into the field, so I will handicap all day and night and find a 5% gem for clients. Nothing on the All-Star game for me. If I have some leans, I'll give them out on Twitter. And yeah, looking forward to the second half of the NBA season and the college basketball season. Both have been decent to date.
Awesome stuff, Tony Mejia, everyone. And guys, just really a quick reminder. Very rarely do we have an 11-0 run. Teddy is on one. Take advantage of that. The man literally is turning into Brad Pitt, John Stamos, and Rob Lowe overnight. Hot as shit. Teddy covers. We're going to take a quick break. We got Andy Lang, Carmine Bianco, and that stud muffin co-host of mine's Big Game Breakdown.
Would you like to bet $20 and win $100 at BetMGM regardless of your wager's outcome and get $100 in free wager bucks? Just go to wt.buzz/MGM for more details and find out if you're eligible for this amazing offer.
It is time for today's Big Game Breakdown. Let's go to the Big Ten for some college basketball action. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing Maryland about a 2-point favorite on the road at Nebraska. Total sitting 145.5/146. And let me start with this. I don't want either one of these sides. All right. Maryland's lost 5 in a row. They're not playing good basketball by any stretch of the imagination. They've won only 2 road games all year. Obviously, Nebraska's been the weakest team in the Big Ten all season. Very young. Certainly, there may be hope for the future for Nebraska, but they're not a good basketball team. So it's not a game where I'm comfortable laying or taking in this point spread range. I don't trust either team to win. This is a game where we're going to focus on the total. All right. Hoiberg wants to run. All right. He wants to play fast. He's always wanted to play fast. The Huskers just gave up 98 to Iowa, 85 to Michigan, 87 to Northwestern. We're not talking about teams that A, shoot the lights out, or B, play particularly fast. And Nebraska's defense, ole, for all of those squads. When you look at Maryland, a very similar story. They just, I know they played well at Purdue last time out, but prior to that, they gave up 110 to Iowa, gave up 82 to Ohio State the game before that, 82 at Michigan. This is a game where both teams think they can get a win. I expect extra intensity. I expect extra possessions. I expect plenty of pace. And I'm looking for the over tonight in Nebraska and Maryland. There's your Big Game Breakdown, Prez. Back to you, my friend.
Brother, thanks, man. Awesome stuff. Andy Lang will be joining us in a second. I just want to say, and look, I know I've been promoting all week. What can I tell you? Guys, Brian Leonard as well tonight, 5% play. And you heard Brian. I mean, he's absolutely rolling right now. So, 3 plays tonight that really stand out to me, Teddy. Anything you're doing right now on an 11-0 run, obviously my 5% NHL play. And, of course, Brian Leonard's 5% college hoops play. Andy Lang, my brother. You ever had really long hair, Andy? Like,
No.
ponytail hair?
Oh.
What, you laughing? Teddy had ponytail hair. I had ponytail hair. We actually had ponytail hair at the same time while smoking an insane amount of weed and eating pancakes on a regular basis.
Not a good look for me. I look dumb in hats. I would look dumb in long hair. Some say I look dumb.
Oh my God,
now, but I think I look better.
Dude, I went to Montana last week and I was determined to find a freaking cowboy hat. Yeah, no. Yeah,
He went to Montana.
Yeah.
On purpose?
I actually loved it.
Did you go to Montana or end up in Montana?
No, I went to ski at Big Sky and actually really enjoyed Montana, man.
Yeah, the skiing there's
the belt buckles, the tight jeans, the cowboy hats. I mean, them's my people, bro. Them's my people. Anyway, you want to talk UFC? Parker Porter. I mean, if that guy is not a superhero, that's as good a name as it gets. Tell me he's going to win this fight.
Yeah, he's going to win this fight, and you have to lay juice on this one. But as Teddy and I talked about on some of the Super Bowl props, laying juice, there's value in it. And Parker Porter is going to win. He's fighting Alan Badeau. Poor Alan Badeau. So the last win that Alan Badeau had was because the other guy got disqualified. He came into the UFC, got knocked out, and then his last fight was a draw because of a no contest. He has no chin. As soon as you touch his chin, he's going down. And Parker Porter, he came into the UFC and he lost to Chris Daukaus, got knocked out, but most people do. But his last two fights, he's looked really good. And what I love is just his output and his cardio. I was very skeptical of his UFC career, but he's won his last two. He beat Josh Parisian and Chase Sherman. Not the best of UFC fighters, but his output, he's thrown 275 and 294 punches his last two fights. So what he's done is he's stopped going for the big knockout, and he's just going to win by decision. And it's worked for him the last two. And I think he's got a real shot to knock out Alan Badeau because of Badeau's just lack of cardio and lack of toughness on the face. Badeau just got knocked out really, really easily. He's a weak fighter. And after this one, I actually don't expect to see Badeau in the UFC anymore. I expect Parker Porter to extend his winning streak to 3. And the nice thing is, once Parker Porter moves up, then you can bet against him once he starts facing better opponents. But this should be a pretty easy win for Porter on Saturday.
So the total here is 1.5 rounds, over minus 150 or so. Is this one where you're thinking it's going to be over quick? You want some
no, I wouldn't expect it to be under. It's going to be because if it does go under, it's because Porter kind of accidentally catches him with a big one. He's not been throwing big, though. That's the thing. He's been working his jab, piecing up. So he's not going for the big kill shot to get himself in trouble. Because if you go for some of those big shots and you miss, you can gas yourself. He's been playing it cautious. I would play over in this one. But I do think that Badeau's cardio could be an issue, and it could be one of those round 3 type of knockouts where Badeau is just gassed. Porter's output just overwhelms him, and Porter ends up getting the win. I expect it to be by decision, but I would not play the under in this one.
So let's talk about the Daytona 500.
Yep.
You haven't. Oh, you want to go, Lawrence? Sorry, I didn't see your little thing.
Nope.
You asked me to go.
No, dude.
I'm on it.
No, I didn't. No, Teddy, you don't see the timeline. I said no follow-up to the Parker. Ask the next one. You did the follow-up, therefore negating your next one.
Negate. I had a follow-up.
Well,
and then
I just
if you know,
all
again,
I wanted to say was I wish Dave Koken was on the show because I want to hear him say Pacapata. That's all.
Yeah, that's funny enough to take over. All that being said, let's shift folks to the Daytona 500, where you're having interesting, and I'm really interested in your thought process behind this one. You're saying, and I know there's a rationale behind it, you're saying the driver who takes the white flag at the Daytona 500 will not win. I have no idea what the odds for that are. Talk about the prop and why you like it.
Okay, well, it's only minus 115, and you have two things that you have to know about this race. First off, the track and the cars. So the big thing with the cars are these are brand new cars for this year. They've never raced in these. It's a brand new setup, and the way that they set up these cars, they want them all to go the exact same speed. So they call this a restrictor plate race. They put a plate to make sure the airflow is the same in all the cars. So it's called pack racing. They bunch up and they go the same speed, which sets up for a lot of cars running close to each other and a lot of wrecks. They call it the big one because when one car wrecks in a pack of 30, it takes out everybody. So what happens here is you have a lot of drafting. So you have cars behind cars in big lines. The worst place you can be is in the lead on the last lap because you're out in front and everyone is lining up behind you with a train of cars behind them to try and get in front of you. The best place you want to be is second or third. And one thing that we see with these cars is we see wrecks every year, but they run some dual races to do the qualifying for this race. And last night we saw it. They weren't even trying to race that hard. And on the last lap, we had a big wreck involving Joey Logano. These guys are trying to get used to these new cars. And with these cars running so fast and so close together, and with the momentum of the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth place cars, the worst place you can be is in the lead. Someone's going to get around you, and there's probably going to be some bumping and banging. There's probably going to be a wreck on the last lap. But minus 115 is fantastic value. I would be terrified if I was in the lead taking the white flag at the Daytona 500. My guess is the winner comes from second, third, or fourth.
Andy Lang, everyone. Andy, awesome stuff, man. Now that, look, we had you on the show a lot to do NFL props. NFL props do not start up again for a few many months. What is going on for you and your clients moving forward?
Well, we got a little lull because NBA is on break. Obviously, we hit the NBA player props pretty good. It was interesting, you guys talking about, like, Teddy, you were talking about hitting the 50% like plays. And, throughout the season, we had a great first half of NBA player props, and we were winning those 50% plays. Well, this week we regressed back. Last night was not a good night. We lost a couple plays because of injuries. Just some of those 50-50 plays didn't go our way, but it's actually a perfect time for a break for us. And we're looking forward to a second half of the NBA season. We'll probably have some UFC up, and we've put up some NHL player props. But don't forget, we got some spring football that we're keeping our eye on. So I would be looking forward to some of those. But NBA, we had a really good NBA playoffs, so I'm very, very excited for that. But
Nice.
second half NBA player props is going to be where we're at.
Andy Lang, everyone. Awesome stuff. We still have Carmine Bianco joining us. NHL. Dan, do we have a Carm sighting? He only needs 1 sec. Teddy, there he is. There's that handsome bald man. Carmine Bianco. I'm seeing you tonight, bro.
Yeah, man. I saw someone who looks like you last night, Barry Melrose on TV, man. He has that same, I imagine you having like that same kind of hairstyle, like the old.
Well, so I've never had a mullet in my life, ever in my life. Number one. Number two, there is a commonality between me and Barry Melrose, and that is both of us refuse in our heads to grow old. Teddy?
Well, I just want to say that the guy who looks exactly like the guy on the Mr. Clean packaging cannot be throwing. It can't be throwing slings and arrows at someone for looking like Barry Melrose. I've never seen you look more like Mr. Clean than you do today, Carm. You can
freshly shaved.
That's a good nickname. I like it.
Teddy, I'm a little white. I was out at 7 a.m. this morning shoveling the snow in the driveway, and I didn't even use the snowblower this morning because I didn't want to wake the neighbors up. It wasn't until I got to the end of the driveway where I just said, kind of screw it, and I went and got the snowblower and finished off the rest of the driveway and stuff. But I was trying to be considerate, let people sleep in while I was shoveling snow. So
yeah,
that's not a problem.
Teddy, I want you to take a guess when the last time I shoveled snow.
Well, I'll take the over whatever number you give me. When did you turn 18? You turned 18 in like 1970. So yeah, I put like 1969. Yeah, something around there.
Yeah. Yeah. The last time I shoveled snow was when my dad had the authority, according to him, to slap me upside the head if I didn't shovel snow.
Yeah.
The hell I'm shoveling snow. Guys, we need 16 more likes for the daily presidential address. It's 7-1 so far this week. So please hit that like button. And also, come on, man. Carmine, Andy, Tony, Teddy, me, a little bit of Dan in the background. Give us some likes. Carm, let's talk some hockey, bro. Florida Panthers, Minnesota Wild. And man, It's hard to make an argument to bet against either of these teams right now. But Florida is the class of the NHL. As a Leaf fan, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, how are we going to beat this team? Anyway, they're playing Minnesota tonight. How do we bet this game?
I love the line on this, and that's the scary thing, because we talk about betting numbers and not teams, and you look at it, and Florida's priced perfectly right. There's not a lot of value on Minnesota, even though they're a very good team at home, and you're getting plus 110 with them. I don't think that's enough. This Florida team is just playing some lights out hockey. I know they play different on the road than they do at home, but recently they've been good on the road, 6-3-1. This is a 5-game road trip. This is game 4 of 5. They'll finish in Chicago on Sunday, but they've won 2 of the 3 games thus far, and they're playing well. And they're playing well because they've got a good goalie. Bobrovsky's having a fantastic year. He's 24, 4-3 with a 2.54 goals against average, and he's owned the Wild as well too. He's like 11-3 and 1 against them. This is a very good Florida team. We'll see what happens come playoff time, because I'm not completely convinced they have the winning culture in the playoffs, and that's the team that Toronto might want to play in the first round, as opposed to playing the 2-time defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning. So, but as far as tonight goes, I think the play is Florida here, minus 130.
Let's talk about the Dallas Stars and the Chicago Blackhawks. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing Dallas anywhere from minus 150, minus 155 on the highway. Total there sitting at 5.5. What do we do with the Stars and the Blackhawks Friday night hockey in Chicago?
Yeah, a lot of people are looking at this one and just thinking like Dallas is an automatic win here. I'm not entirely convinced. I think the Hawks are a live dog here. They returned home off a 3-game road trip where they won 2 of 3 games, and against a good Edmonton Oilers team and a Winnipeg team that's also playing well. They kept both teams to a goal on the road. Fleury was in net for both of those games. He wasn't in net last night. They laid an absolute egg last night against Columbus, losing 7-4 in that game. But that was also Arvid Soderblom in net, and he's an automatic fade if he's in goal at any point for this team. It's Fleury in net tonight. He's going to be in net for the foreseeable future. They're auditioning him right now. They're going to move him and his salary, I think, before the trade deadline. And while the Stars are playing well on the road, 5 straight, they have not faced a goalie like this. 4 of those games were against Philadelphia, Detroit, I believe the Buffalo Sabres as well too. They're facing a completely different team here in Chicago, who are better than those teams, but it's the goaltending that makes the biggest difference here. Fleury he's playing lights out right now, I believe, and I think they're a live dog plus 135 here tonight.
Carm, look, you talk about the goalie with Chicago. Dallas 20-26 to the under. Chicago 21-23 to the under. Chicago's not a lights out team scoring wise, and Dallas, coming off of a 4-1 win against Colorado, you like the under in this game too?
I do like the under in this game, and it's mainly going back to, you look at last night's game, 7-4. I think you just draw a line straight through that game. Team returning off a road trip, put in an emergency goalie and just laid an absolute dud on the road. They were chasing the game early on. He allowed 2 goals in 12 seconds in that game, and it was done after that. But you have Fleury in net. If he throws in the same type of performance as he did in Edmonton, that was a 4-1 game there, 3-1 in Winnipeg, and those teams are scoring goals. And they went in there, they played the perfect road game. They need to play that same type of game here against the Dallas Stars, and I think they get the win in a low-scoring game. This could easily be another one of those 4-1, 3-2 type games.
Yeah, man, don't say 4-1 to me, Carm. I've lost 3 overs this week with the score being the dreaded 4-1. And it is really the worst score. When you're on the over and it's 4-1 in the third, you've lost. You would rather it be 3-1, believe it or not,
Yeah.
so that you might get a pulled goalie and a 3-2 and then a 4-2. But man, that 4-1 score.
Yeah, the only team I've seen this year pull a goalie down 3 goals is Tampa Bay. They've done it twice, and they pulled the goalie with about 6 minutes left in the game, 6-7 minutes left in the game. But Tampa doesn't care whether they lose 4-1 or they lose 7-1. They give themselves a chance. With an extra attacker, Tampa is a formidable team. So I get it. But yeah, that 4-1 score line is terrible if you're on over 100%.
Yeah, Carmine Bianco. Carm, what do you got to promote?
Couple NHL tonight, couple soccer this afternoon, a 5% play up on the weekend. Having a great week. I think number one at WagerTalk, about 29, up 29 units, hitting about 70%. It's been a good week thus far, especially in hockey, 9-3, I believe. So yeah, head over to WagerTalk, get that 3-day all access package, $59. You're going to get everything through to Sunday, including 5% plays.
Excellent stuff. Carm, get out of here, brother. Guys, it's time for the daily presidential address. All right, guys, if you've been watching these videos on Twitter and listening to them on WagerTalk Today, I am 7-1 this week in these videos. And I have one bet for you guys on this video. And although it's only one, it is a big bet. I love it. I would have released it to my clients, but I just want to let everybody know I have a 5% play up tonight in NHL. I won my 5% on Monday. I won my 5% on Wednesday. I am currently on a 11-2 5% run, 83-48 since December 2019, up 124%. Unbelievable numbers. Promo code for you guys, Prez 10. That's PREZ 10. You get $10 off of that play. As for your free bet tonight, guys, I'm going with the Carolina Hurricanes in regulation. It's around minus 105. They're playing Nashville. And look, they came off a loss against Florida in their last game. And man, the Canes have lost 2 in a row in 4 of their last 5. It's been a stint for them, probably the worst stint of the season for them so far. But Nashville's not doing much better. They've lost 3 games in a row. I look at this situation and I say to myself, man, take Roman Josi out. And there is not a position on Nashville where they're better than the Hurricanes. Maybe in goal, but Freddie is playing outstanding himself. I just think the Hurricanes are a much better team. I think they've seen their home ice advantage get taken away from them this week. They need to win this game, and they will take them in regulation. Also, Teddy's on an 11-0 run. He's got to play up tonight. Make sure to grab that. My friend Teddy, take us home.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the week here at WagerTalk Today. We'll be back again on Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck this weekend.
Deja vu? It may seem like it since we've made the same announcement 3 times in the last 3 months, with this being number 4, but we are lowering our prices again. First, our 30-day all access went from $349 to $299. Next, the 7-day all access pass went from $119 to just $99. And just a few weeks ago, despite our popular 3-day all access pass, it went down to $59 from $69. Next up is the 90-day all access pass, which is now officially dropped down to $749 from being $849, giving you 90 days of selections from your favorite handicapper for under $6 per week. Remember, purchased wager bucks can now be used the same as cash. including on our new lowered price 3, 7, 30, and 90-day all access packages, allowing you to save every day on every pick you buy.